Hello guys, Alex Fedotoff here. Today we have an amazing guest. We have Eric Dyck. I interviewed this man like 2 years ago. They were organizing these amazing events called iStack. One of them was in Barcelona. It was an amazing event. And since then, like Eric has built an amazing business and it's a D2C newsletter. So all of the, I'm reading this newsletter myself. It's an amazing like content. I'm actually like opening. I don't know what's your open rates, but like I'm like literally I'm opening and I'm checking. So thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, it's great to see. I really, that memory or that we just did an interview right after this amazing event in Barcelona. We're in a sort of ancient city in Barcelona, literally. It's like a little model city that's designed to feel like the 1500s or 1300s or something. We're in this dome, sweating it out at however hot it was there.
Welcome to Alex Fedotoff.
Oh yeah.
But then to just sit there and shoot the breeze after the event and that interview, just I really enjoy it. We should link to it in this one because I think that was a great one too.
Sure. I'll link to it. It was an amazing conversation. And it's interesting, like, so, I mean, you're seeing so much data, right? His business is within the Pilothouse, which is an amazing agency, like doing like, you do guys doing like full service, like, is it like Facebook, Google, like Amazon, right?
Yeah. So basically, like, it's funny. I go back with Pilothouse. When I was building iStack, I was renting office space from Pilothouse, from their parent company, actually called Helmkin. And I watched them grow. And when I got the opportunity to kind of join as the director of content, they were about 20 employees. And their whole thing was from my same roots as a marketer, which was this idea of performance marketing, which we learned in affiliate marketing in like 2007 and 8. And they just basically applied this idea of ruthless performance marketing. They built it into their model in a very clever way, where they only really profit when they profit for the customer. And with that, at the right time, with starting D2C at the right time, they've now grown to 115 people, 115 employees. And it's a totally full service agency with every traffic source covered, with full incentivized teams in each of those spaces who have deals with us to get promotion on D2C. And it's an incredible sort of ecosystem that Pilothouse kind of put together. They say this all the time. One really neat thing, the way they think about their agency now is as much of an incubator as anything else. Like, they have so many smart, talented people under there working their guts out for, their clients and driving these incredible results. But like being able to, there's also just so many opportunities around that they have this mentality where when people, they want their entrepreneurial, you have to train entrepreneurial minded people in the business. So so what you need to do is give them an outlet. So like if they want to start a business, find a way that they can start a business with you to enhance what you're doing. And I think, that's one great insight I would have from working with Pilothouse.
That is like, so you mentioned that having that like newsletter as kind of like part of the business, like transformed the business from like 20 employees to 100 plus.
It was a part, I can't say it transformed it. I would love to be able to say that they had an incredible trajectory before, had nothing to do with the podcast. Actually, they had built out some incredible relationships with Snow. They'd done a huge partnership with Josh Elizeche for a long time. They'd made huge inroads with a bunch of UK clients. So I certainly can't say that they were experiencing hyper growth, and then we sort of added on D2C, and D2C really has then become a very powerful engine for business development for Pilothouse, for sure.
That is impressive. That's very impressive. So
and a great business in its own right, which is it is now the important thing here is it was a business built within a business. I'm an intrapreneur more than an entrepreneur. I got a family, so I am an owner of this business now that I've built within Pilothouse, using their assets in all these different ways, their HR teams, their accounting teams, their advertising teams to advertise the products, just sort of plugged into this like really great environment. And now it's becoming its own company where we'll totally maintain our symbiotic relationship because we get a lot of content from them. They get a lot of business from us. It's a really, it's a great situation. And what's best is I grew up with these guys, like, in the early 2000s, like I'm friends with these guys for years. Wow. Partied with them all over the iStack events all over the world. So
that's awesome.
It's fun to have it working really well.
How is like in terms of like hiring? So like going from like 20 team members to like 100, in terms of the hiring, right? Like, and is that like fully like remote or that's like in-house?
Yeah. So when I built iStack with them renting office space from them, we had an office downtown Victoria, right over like a fudge shop in the little tourist, district. And it would hold maybe 20 people at most. And we went, like, I got hired when we were 20 people. We just started, this period of hyper growth. And because it started at the beginning of the pandemic. And as soon as the results started going up, and people were doing their jobs and heroes were emerging and all these great things, like they decided early on, we can't make people come into an office. At that point they decided, like, pivotally, like, we're a forever remote company. And now the office that they have is just like a social gathering place. It's just sort of like where we come, I'll say it's where we come after hours quite often, to meet, and have fun with other staff members that we rarely see. I think about this, I've been at companies that have grown from, 7 people to, say, 40 people earlier in my career. And we did it in an office, and versus doing it out of office, like doing it where you have a culture that everyone's pulling towards and you have the systems that kind of make it work. It just feels so much more effortless than it did when we were all in an office. Cause it like strips away so much of the baggage and bullshit you have of just coming into an office every day and seeing all these people every day. And I don't want to trash the office and being in person. But it's totally changed the way I've done things. Like, I've just become a content, just produce so much content at this point that I don't, I kind of build that around, my home office. And so, yeah. Anyways, to answer your question, Pilothouse is a forever remote company. And so we have most of our staff, I would say 80% of our staff is on the island here, Vancouver Island, British Columbia, with a big chunk in Victoria. Then after that, we're expanding globally for sure.
This is awesome. So in terms of the like DTC, because I mean, you're observing like so much data, right? Like all these like newsletters, that's probably like what's kind of like left after, like, you probably have like 10x more like information and insights, right? Then you just deciding kind of like what to put in the newsletter, kind of like the most like juicy parts. Like, what are the trends you're seeing? Like, because I mean, you've been part of the industry like for so many years.
Yeah.
2019, 2020, 2021. Like, what are the trends where you see like the whole like e-commerce, for example, direct to consumer industry is going?
I think it's a lot of the things that we talked about in the last conversation were relevant. We talked a lot about content and really owning your audience. And I think that's the biggest thing that I would say. And it's funny, we're a customer acquisition newsletter. Obviously, a lot of our content is on the tactical, ways to make your Facebook ads, work better, essentially. But across all sorts of dimensions. But in terms of broader trends, because I'm actually probably more, a lot of my focus goes into the podcast. I actually have a content team that does a lot more of that content side. But what I see are these interviews two a week with these like high level founders who've built businesses that are in the process of breaking through. And I would say like the high level things that I see there are really, a lot of people are just very focused owning the customer relationship and handling it really well, especially directly after the first purchase. I was talking with Repeat.io, great brand that sort of built around this idea of being able to get your, basically he was saying the biggest problem with commerce right now is you can't get enough repeat purchases. Yeah, Repeat.io or GetRepeat.io. And they're basically like, everyone wants a subscription program, but only 10 or 15% of people will ever subscribe to anything. Most people won't. And so this company kind of fills the gap between people who make one purchase and then owning the relationship with email and SMS in such a way that you're really optimizing the chance of a second purchase and really just focusing on getting more than one purchase out of people. And really owning that back end relationship. So I would say that that's one really big trend I see. And then the other is it's the sexy answer is, the people who run the best ads, the people that have the best techniques and tactics and stuff like that. But so many of the people I talk to are people that really have a whole sort of organic mindset about their business to the point where they can even just, they add ads for fuel, but they've built out every aspect of in terms of their communities and people that are looking to them, people that, whether it's through their content that they create, but they have people kind of like coming to them in these organic ways as like a really good chunk of the business. And then when you do that, it makes all of your ads better as well, right? Because you get more content, you get more, there's more people, more positive sentiment on your ads. It's just like, I just think the more you have that like organic base. I think of Vessi. I just interviewed a friend of mine, Tony Yu, at Vessi in Vancouver, who's just like basically every third person on Vancouver Island and in Vancouver in the mainland is wearing Vessis at all times. Like they're just absolute.
How is it spelled?
VESSI.com. And they're a waterproof shoe. And they're in, they're just like, he's built this great company, but they have put so much energy. They found through ads that they had all these interesting communities. So for instance, they have like, tens of thousands of diehard nurses and medical professionals. And they found that through ads and through feedback. But then quickly they've positioned their marketing to like really focus on ways that they can make nurses and doctors' lives better. And they've actually pivoted a huge, they have ads that go to this. They have so many internal campaigns based around this idea. And so they have this really, sort of radical concept of like spending your marketing dollars connecting with your core audiences in ways that will have them sort of perpetually come back to your brand. And it's not easy for every brand to do, but some of those big trends that I'm seeing are about people that are connecting in those ways.
Everyone, you said like everyone has like waterproof shoes now in Vancouver. That's probably really helpful.
Well, yeah, right now shoes aren't enough right now with what's happening in Vancouver, for sure. But yeah, no, they're a rainy weather, very friendly shoe. I'm really impressed. I was, I connected with him right around that Barcelona time as well, and he, just to see that company go into hyper growth like so many kind of did during this period.
Hey guys, people have been asking me how we scale to multiple 6 figures or even 7 figures per month without getting shut down on Facebook. And we have a very sophisticated solution for this that I want to share with you, but it's just like too valuable to give away for free. So if you guys want this solution, just book a call with one of my team members and we'll show you exactly what it is and how it works, and we'll see if that's a good fit for you and for your business. So just book a call with my team member. We'll share it with you so you can scale your business to multiple 6 figures or even 7 figures per month without getting shut down on Facebook, without having inconsistency, and with high profitability. So just book a call with my team and I'll see you there.
We sync that up. So it's been an absolutely wild ride. I'm trying to think of other like really great trends. We're just seeing we're seeing our CPMs just blow up right now, just massively and we sort of sought refuge in TikTok, and we're having a lot of success. I'm speaking of lead generation for the content for the newsletter at this point, but we'd sort of grown it on Facebook, and we'd sort of switched to TikTok because we were just seeing incredible CPMs and cost per acquisition. And then it's just absolutely skyrocketed.
Wow. So for newsletter, you also use TikTok? Like you use like ads and like on TikTok to get like new subscribers?
Yeah, the newsletter business model is pretty interesting. We've sort of grown the business 70% just through user acquisition. Wow. And a lot of that was like the timing again as well. When we started the newsletter, we were calling it DTC at the beginning of the global pandemic, in 2020, when every company in the world, whether you were small or whether you were Kellogg's, was thinking about, I need to put more budget and effort and thought and time into going direct to consumer. And it paid off. Like Kellogg's became a client of Pilothouse, actually, literally because of the newsletter. I had the head of growth, I think it was his title at Kellogg's, listening to my podcast when we had probably, 20 or 30 listeners per episode. And he was one of them, and he pivoted Kellogg's marketing strategy on the concepts of performance marketing that we talked about on the podcast.
Really? Like, oh, that's a company that like does the Pringles and stuff? Yep,
that's one of the biggest companies in the world. yeah
Wow, this is massive. And so that the podcast, you're like, so they were watching your podcast, like, so
they were listening to my podcast. Wow. And so when I was like doing my podcast and we had 20 listeners, and I'm like, oh, it's only 20 listeners, but one of them was this guy. And that's the thing with B2B, right? And that's I'm in this B2B world where we have a 50,000 person email list. Join it, go to directtoconsumer.co. We're actually I don't know when this will come out, but we'll probably have launched our new brand. We're in the process of totally rebranding our colors and our website design. And after the show, I'll send you the link just so I'll get your feedback on it. But I think it's crazy nice, super fun. It's just been, I've just been able to build this team. That's been the coolest part of D2C so far, just bringing in these people in these positions to take over the content, to take over the ad sales. I kind of pioneer them, and then we've just been able to find like incredible people, like AA players to join the team. And it's been a wild ride.
How do you get so I think that will be applicable even for, have you seen I remember one of your newsletters, like placing, for example, placing your ads for your e-commerce product, for example, on a podcast, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen
totally.
that? Have you seen businesses that kind of figure that out?
Totally. There's a bunch that have figured it out. I've had a number of people who talk about it, equal number of people that say they had to spend a lot of money to figure it out, kind of thing. And that's not about a secret hack. It's really just really listening for the best affinity, the best sort of, really understanding your core audience type and their core audience type. And then really listening to how they do ads as well. I think that's the other big thing, is really finding someone who on average is going to do a really native ad read. And that's really hoping that the host is the exact avatar of your customer as well, and really planning that. So I've seen people do really well with it. The thing that I've heard about podcasts is that if you do it and you invest in it, you really have to give it. It's there's a long window. I think it was a 6-month window. I was talking to a guy who runs the marketing for a cosmetic brand. And he was saying that it had this huge latent impact, that they went back and checked exit surveys from 6 months later, and a huge percent of them were from the podcast. So it's a hard thing for performance marketers to have to wait. Very top of funnel.
Very top of the funnel.
And top of the funnel in a different way. Podcasts are just they're so native, right? They're so, when you get someone, and that's why people, that's why my podcast works at, not huge volume, and this would too. Because podcasts just give you that really depth of, people are just talking so frankly, I feel like, on podcasts generally, that you get a great depth of connection when it aligns in the right way. You know what I mean?
This company called Ridge Wallet, Ridge. Yeah. So they have this model where it's I interviewed the founder, and not the founder, but their chief operating officer. And they said that, so they're pretty much using this model with, let's say you have YouTube video, right? And then in the middle of YouTube video, there's a plug for the specific product, sponsored product, creator, this product, amazing product, and stuff like that. They have grown very well, with that model. Do you know kind of any other brands that have leveraged, let's say YouTube kind of plugs, or ads, not these kind of sponsors plugs?
So you mean sort of more affiliate type relationships with YouTube celebrities?
It's kind of paid, you can pay for transaction, for one plug, for example, let's say a few $100 or a few $1,000.
Yeah. So Vessi, I know that's something that I think they have built, affiliate relationships with people with a lot of views. On those platforms where they do give these types of plugs. I don't know if they probably started pay-per-plug. I know True Earth, a friend of mine in Vancouver who runs a detergent company, a really successful detergent company, one of Canada's fastest growing companies.
Wow.
And he has similar type affiliate relationships. And he got into that by taking the Harmon Bros course on how to tell a story with your ads, making one himself in QuickTime or whatever in iMovie. And it now has 7 million views or something like that, and it launched the business. And then he since went back and has found a great creator to make these sort of over the top, character driven, funny videos that have done extremely well for them. And they just milk them top of funnel with their Facebook ads as well.
How is True Earth, what's their volume right now? Is it 9-figure brand?
I don't know if it's I don't think it's not far off if it's not, but they have a huge retail game. They're in Costco. They're another big brand out here.
Such a kind of product, you wouldn't even think, right, that you can advertise a product creatively.
Yeah. The one idea I would highlight for your audience that is just on I'll bring up Tony Yu. I was trying to segue into this a little bit, but he did just a giveaway. They did a giveaway where they took 200 pairs of product And they said, hey, we're doing a giveaway. They just announced it very quickly to their audience. And they basically did their first 100 to first come, first serve. They basically were like, if within the first 100, this is honestly, you just get a pair. It's a giveaway, go. And it created this buzz. And then the next 100 pairs they did randomly for everyone that entered. And then they ran some ads to it. They hit their list with it. They did all these things. And this is like before Q4, they generated a list in under 24 hours of over 40,000 like new potential customers for the cost of 200 pairs of shoes.
Where does they advertise it? Where does it put it, like the giveaway?
Probably to their list, and then Facebook. Facebook and TikTok, and I would imagine, and YouTube probably through their. They probably coordinated it with their affiliates. They probably did a big coordinated push with the giveaway. But they ended up, and then they ended up banking, just immediately within 48 hours, just on the sales, because after you send the giveaway, you didn't win to 99% of people, but here's a great discount. And their funnel. Check out Vessi.com for their funnel for their upsells. They're just an incredibly well thought out brand, and that tactic was just extremely good. Just again, giving back to their community made a lot of people's days. Gave a lot of great product. I think they gave a similar amount of product to their causes that they support, and now they have an extra 40,000 emails heading into Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
Wow, this is massive. This is such a. I want to connect, mastermind, and network with 6, 7, 8-figure entrepreneurs. Join our free community on Facebook, which is called Brand Hypergrowth. It's for only entrepreneurs who are already doing at least $30,000 or more in sales per month and want to go to 7, 8 figures. So you can connect, you can network, you can mastermind, you can exchange insights and value with these guys and take your business to the next level. So there should be a link in the description. Make sure you join today. How do they maintain their community? Like, do you know, like Instagram, YouTube, like Facebook groups?
I was trying to, again, I'd have to get more from, you'd have to ask Tony really. Maybe I can send you an intro.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's more grassroots than that. It's more in the cases of like nurses and things like that. It's like, it's being present at the events that nurses go to, or it's in, being present in the communities that they're part of organically. It's giveaway. It's doing charitable things.
Like nurses, like real kind of like in hospitals, like.
Yeah, that's it. It became like they were running ads and they started getting all this feedback, and they found that a huge portion of their audience were literally nurses who didn't want to get fluids on their shoes or wanted waterproof, fluid proof shoes. Essentially, it's kind of gross.
Wow.
But it stuck, and then they sort of like really nurtured those communities where in the big cities that they were present in. They started only in Canada, and they've recently, in the past 2 or 3 years, have expanded to the US as well. And now they're in a ton of major cities in the US as well. Lots in down California. And
wow, this is awesome.
Not in Miami, apparently.
I guess
you guys just wear thongs. You guys just wear flip flops out there.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I'll wear
Gucci shoes with no socks.
Yeah, it's still. I mean, it's like probably, I don't know if you have Celsius or Fahrenheit, like it's like 25.
Yeah, Celsius.
25 here. It's
okay,
pretty
that's
cold.
not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty cold now.
Don't even tell me. An atmospheric river is going over my part of the world right now. So,
Eric, thank you so much, my man. Like it's such a great pleasure to connect with you, and let's connect. In a few months again, because the place is so dynamic. Like it's so fascinating.
Yeah. If anyone who's listening doesn't subscribe, make sure you go to directtoconsumer.co, subscribe for twice a week newsletter.
It's literally like a free newsletter, but it's packed with like valuable like insight, strategist tips. It's very useful. It's like a lot of things you can actually like implement right away. So yeah, very like tactical and strategic. So it's really
not
good.
just the news. We like to say it's a lot of places you'll get the news, you'll know what's happening, what brands did what, and things like that. But we're sort of tactically digging into what's working on the front lines of performance marketing, whether it's through the agency where we work directly with the heads of each department, or whether it's the brands that we interview. We translate that directly to the newsletter for free. We just ask that you open it, take it out of your promotions folder, and click on our advertisers links with great intent. It's very meta. I like to end it on a meta note.
Cool. Well,
Next time we'll talk about Web3.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, like, yeah, this place is like, cool. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining, Eric. Great pleasure. And yeah, next time we do it in person. Next time we got to figure out how to get you out of Canada.
Yeah, that's right. Break me out of Canada. I think I can just, I think I can do it. I'll figure it a way. I'm getting a little stir crazy, I gotta say. So I gotta get off here. Anyways, I gotta go too. See you later, Alex.
Yeah, see you.